welcome back to the Circuit Revival, where today we're looking at not one, but two PlayStation 1 consoles. So I got these consoles as part of a job lot, and these two don't work. Basically, they both boot up, but they won't play games. They basically struggle to play games. So I'll put a bit of footage in now where we can watch that happen, and then we'll basically replace the lasers in them. So I have already tried to adjust the potentiometers on the lasers, but it still didn't work. And from what I also gather as well is that's not a real fix, and it's just kind of prolonging the inevitable. So worth swapping them out anyway. In reality, it's not really worth them because the lasers themselves are worth about as much as a working console. But I had these taking up room and I figured we might as well get them fixed. So we'll start just by showing you guys that they load up. So I've got this plugged in via RF just at the back here, and then we will plug in power. I'll move over to my other camera here and we'll just see that they load up. So we'll just turn it on here. And you can see it turns on there. I'm not sure if you can hear the laser in the camera there. It doesn't sound healthy. So we'll just swap these over and go to the other one. We'll just double check that. RF in and then power. I'll just jump back to my camera again. And again, we'll just turn this on. And it does the same thing there. So as you can hear, like the lasers don't sound great in either of these. They sort of sound like they're struggling. So we'll get them replaced. And hopefully we'll have two working consoles again. This second one that we see here is it's a bit dirty. I'm not sure how well that translates up there, but it's not very clean, so we might have to give that a clean as well. And I guess another thing to note is they are two different revisions. You can tell by the port at the back here. One has it, one has it. I don't know what the parallel I/O does or what it was meant for, but you can see one's newer than the other, which meant that I had to get two different laser assemblies for these. So we'll start with the one without to begin with. And what I do like about these older consoles is they're just really simple. So you'll see with this, it's just got 6 Phillips head or crosshead screws in it. It's also been labelled up CL, obviously by the previous owner there. So hopefully it should be a nice easy fix. And if I remember correctly, I've only opened these up just to check them last time. So the lasers are pretty easy to get out. I think you basically just undo couple of screws maybe, and then it just lifts straight out. So these are the first PS ones I've actually got to fix. The last ones I had that I got in the job lot just worked, so I didn't need to worry about those. From what I gather, it's quite common for the lasers to go on these. I suppose they are pretty old now. What I understand happens is when you adjust that potentiometer on the laser, it just reduces the voltage, reduces the resistance, which allows the voltage to run through higher, basically adding more power to the laser, which is why it's more of a temporary fix rather than a permanent fix. Okay, so that lid should just lift up, and here we are. So I believe there's different revisions of the board, and I think it tells you underneath this plate here which revision it is. See if I can see just looking at it, but no, I think you might have to lift it up to actually see. But I think another telltale sign is also the type of cable that's connected to it. So you see on this one, it's a small little kind of like paddle shaped, whereas I think the other ones are slightly longer. So let me just double check which lasers I've got here. And that looks like possibly the right one. There we go. So here's the replacement laser. You can see the same, it has that sort of just like paddle cable there. If I just get the other one quickly, I can show you what the other one looks like. And then I believe that's the one that's in the other console. So I'll just place that back there. So I think each of these lasers is like £10 each, which is why they're not really worth it. I've only got them, A, to get rid of the consoles, and B, for a video, but at home it's probably not really worth getting. Okay. And then here's the other one. You can see similar kind of thing, but the cable is much longer, obviously, and I believe has a slightly smaller tab at the end there. So we'll start with this one. We'll just undo this by, I think it's just friction fit, so I believe it just pulls out. And then I believe this just lifts up. And then we've got a cable plugged into it here, which we can just give a wiggle and it's out. We'll put that off to the side and we'll get our replacement laser. So we'll start just by putting that cable back in, just push fit into there. We'll place it back onto these posts. And then again, this just friction fits in. And it's as simple as that. So hopefully that's that one sorted. So we can get the lid back on this. We'll get those screws back in. And we'll give this one a test. And then we'll jump onto the other one that needs a bit of a clean as well. So if you are thinking of this, as you can see, it's really simple, really straightforward to do. I think the cost is the real kind of clincher on it, because for the most part, you might as well get a working console for the price you're going to pay. So if you're looking to buy PS1s to kind of fix them and sell them on, they're definitely not worth it, just because of how much they are. So I believe like the cost is very much the same as the actual laser assemblies themselves. But I suppose if you've got a PS1 yourself at home and you have some kind of sentimental attachment to it or something, then maybe it's worth just getting a new laser for it. But if not, possibly worth just getting a replacement. So we'll just plug all this back in, jump back over to the camera, and we'll hopefully be able to load up a game. That's that. Power in. Let's just get a game. So I'm using just a copy of Croc here. And inside there's this piece of paper. It tells me what I found with each of them. So we'll put game in, lid closed, jump back over to the other camera here, and then hopefully we'll load into the game. Okay, turning on now. Does not sound healthy. Okay, that has still not worked. So we'll just take a look at this. So we can kind of simulate the lid being shut by pressing this button here. So I don't advise doing this or looking at it because it can hurt, but let's just try and see what this laser is doing. So it's trying, but just not getting anywhere. Okay, what we'll do is we'll pause this one for now. We'll try the other one and see if it works, because maybe these lasers themselves are also faulty. But we'll double check. So if they both don't work, then we know it might be the lasers, but if one works the other one doesn't, we might just fault find it a bit more. So we'll just get this one open, swap the laser out on this, and see if we have any more luck. Okay, we're into this one. And here you can see what I was saying about the difference in the lasers. So you can see it's a bit shorter on this one. So we'll do the same again. We'll lift it up, undo this little cable, pull out the friction fit cable there, and swap this over. So I wonder whether maybe these were taken out of consoles, because it's a bit dirty there. So I don't know whether maybe they are just pulled out of old consoles, which I suppose makes sense. I don't imagine they're really manufacturing these anymore. Okay, so that's all in. We'll place this back down. We'll get our lid back on, and we'll give this one a test. So I know it's not the game, because I've tested it in my working console. And the fact that it sort of doesn't sound healthy immediately upon boot also, I think, kind of evidences it's not the game itself. Obviously it could well be something different. It might not be the lasers themselves, but the fact that the console's boot and everything does kind of point towards the actual disc reading assembly being the problem. Okay, last screw. And we'll give this one a go. So we'll open up, get crock in, RF input, power in, and we'll just jump back over to the other camera. And we'll turn on in 3, 2, 1. This one already sounds a lot healthier. You can hear the game loading up properly. We've got the logo. Can we get past the logo? Come on. There we go. And we're into the game. So that's one of two fixed. We'll jump back to the other one and just take a look. Fantastic. Okay, we'll put this one off to the side for a second because it obviously needs cleaning. And we'll jump back into that first one and have a look and see if we can see why that one's not working. So I'll try just by kind of undoing the laser, putting it back in. Maybe it's just not seated correctly. And then if not, we'll have a look at the actual potentiometer on it, see if we can get it to run a bit better. There we go, we're back inside. And we'll just take a look at this laser. So we'll try to begin with just unplugging and plugging back in just in case, but we'll just take a quick look at this. I mean, it does look pretty clean. Maybe the rails could do with being greased up a bit, they're a bit dry. See if this spins freely. So Why is this not spinning? I believe this should be the worm wheel that adjusts the position of the laser, but is that moving? Okay, there is grease on it, and I believe that is moving. So let's try just by bringing it out a bit, because I believe the lasers start by going in to double check. So that's out slightly. What we can do is check to see whether it will reset itself first of all. So we'll plug this back in, back on the post here, plug the ribbon cable in, and what we'll do is this little button here is what tells the console that the lid is shut. So we push that down, plug it in, and see if it does anything. So obviously this area here is live and we'll have a high voltage going to it. So I'm not going to put my hands anywhere near that. I'm just going to plug in and we'll push the on button. So we've got the green light and we'll just hold down the lid. Okay, so it's done the same thing. Let's get the game and see if it does the same thing again. So we can see that the laser does come in. It does come in to look for the disc. So I don't think that's the problem. And we'll just do the same. And it's just slow rotating. So that strikes me like, and we'll just take out power. So the power's out. So it strikes me that maybe that is just because the laser is a bit weak on this. So let's have a look at what the potentiometer is showing. So I believe it's just here. If we zoom in slightly. I believe it's just this here is just the potentiometer, that little silver thing there. And I think if you turn it one way, it increases the resistance. If you turn it the other, it decreases the resistance. Although what I have just seen, if you just zoom out slightly, is just looking at this cable. It's got some marks on it. I don't know whether that would be anything, but just here, some dark marks. So I'm going to take this out and have a look just at this laser. So we'll put this off to the side for now. We'll just have a look at whether that's likely to be anything. I don't think that is anything. I think it's possibly just surface level there. Doesn't look good though. I wonder if it'll come off. Try and see if we can give this a clean quickly. See if it's surface level or not. So that could be it. It's not coming off. It doesn't look like it's gone through anything. I don't know if you can check with these because of where they go to. Let's have a look just under the microscope quickly and see if we can see it a bit clearer. Okay, here we are just under the microscope, and here is the cable. We'll just try and get that in focus. So it doesn't look good, does it? I can't tell if that's on the top or if that's inside. So I might try and see if I can scrape back some of this and see if we can get to it. I don't know whether it's going to damage it though if we try and get through this kind of top layer. I don't quite know how these ribbon cables work. So what I'd like to do is, I guess, test this end and then test the other end on this, but I think they need to be taken apart to be able to get to that part of it. So I don't think we'll be able to test that. Let's just double check what the resistance is on this potentiometer quickly. So I'll just balance it here. I'll get my multimeter and we'll put it in ohms. And then there's 3 points, 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and I think going between those should give us a reading. So that's 0.995. So is that 900 ohms? Just do the other side. 0.4 ohms. Nothing there. Let's just try with the lead swapped. So that's 900 ohms. So I suppose if we get that number just slightly lower, then it should let more through because there'll be less resistance. So let's just try that. We know it's at 0.995. We can always put it back if needed. Now I don't know which way is which, but if we just go really, really small increments on this, and we'll go clockwise to begin with. I might just need a smaller head on my screwdriver here. Let's try this one. So we want less than 0.995. Okay, we've gone slightly around. Let's see what this gives us now. .833. Let's give that a go. See if that makes any difference whatsoever. Okay, so we'll do that again. We'll just plug the cable in, place it down, ribbon cable in. We'll put crock back on. We'll get our power again, and again, reminder that this is live voltage here, so you want to be very careful. I am, as always the case, don't copy anything I do. This stuff's purely for entertainment. I'm no expert in this. So we'll just press the close button again. Can't tell if that's better or if it's the same. So we might just try a little bit more. Turn it off, power out. We might just try and increase that or reduce it down just a touch more. So we're at 0.8 something now. So we were... Okay, let's just try and take it out. I can't quite get a good reading on that. So take this out. We'll just pop this off to the side again for now. We'll just get a reading on this potentiometer. For some reason I can't quite get a reading at the moment. Doesn't want to give me a reading now. Okay, that's showing 0.955. I'm sure that's pretty similar to what we had it originally. I'm sure it showed something different. Let's try just a little bit more of a turn on that. What does that read? .721. So we've reduced down by quite a bit there. Let's see if that makes any difference. That makes no difference. We'll try and put it back to sort of where it was, and we'll give scraping back that cable a bit more of a go. See if we can test whether they are making a connection, because they don't look very good to me. Okay. We'll do the same again. Power in, staying very clear. We'll get our disc. And then we'll close the lid. Now, that doesn't seem any different if you ask me. So we are unplugged again. So we'll put this back to where it was. Okay, that's back to where it was. And let's see if we can get into these this ribbon cable here and see if it is making a connection. So I'm hoping what I can do is just scratch back on the ribbon cable slightly and then test just a bit further up. With the multimeter, because as you can see that, I'll just try and get this back in focus. Looks like it might have worn through slightly. I'll get my tweezers. What we'll do is try and see if we can get just on the other side of that, see if we can break through this plastic slightly. Sort of like Captain Tape kind of stuff. Now I don't want to tear too far through and actually break it. I want to try and see if I can get through the top layer. lift it up here, might be able to see. Doesn't look like this wants to come through. Try and see if I can lift it up at the bottom here slightly. No, it doesn't look like it wants to lift up. Because those first couple look like they're completely broken to me. Try and see if I can get just a sharp knife and see if that will cut through a bit better. So I've got here this sort of like X-Acto knife. Try and see if this will. Just want to see if I can get underneath the tape. There we go. So I've got some Kapton tape so I can put this back down if needed. So that looks like a break to me. Is that corrosion? Is it broken through? Is that trace completely gone? See if we can go a bit further up this. Okay, definitely broken there, but that could well have been me. I feel like maybe I did cut through it. Well, let's test up to where that clear break is, see if we do get continuity. Because I think I've just broken it there. Okay, so we're in continuity, which is the mode that beeps when the probes touch together. So we should have between here and here. So even though it looks like I have cut through it, it's not broken there. Is there a gap there? How is that getting there? That clearly looks like it's cut. Oh, I see, okay. I think there's still just a bit of the tape there. That's why it wasn't getting it in the middle. So I don't think there's anything wrong with those then, if that's clearly there, because that's the worst one, and if that's getting there, then the rest look like they're definitely connected. At points. Let's get the original laser and have a look at that. Okay, here's the connector for the original laser. As you can see, it's completely clean. Let's see what resistance this has on that potentiometer. So, as I say, I think I've adjusted these already, so it might be quite high. Or low, should I say. Let's have a look, see what this is showing. So that's showing 689. So let's put this one back in and see what the original one does. If it does the same thing, then it might be something on the board itself. Because this is the one, as we can see here, there is some clearly not factory wires in there. So this is the one that has the mod on it. So maybe it's the mod that's causing the problem, and it's not actually the laser at all. And maybe something they've done with the mod is what's stopping it from working. Which is completely feasible. If they've tried to do some kind of a region mod or something on it that allows you to play games from any region, but maybe they broke it and that's why it's been sold off in the first place. But we'll just see if this one does the same. So we're plugged in. And we'll close the lid. So that's definitely doing the same thing. Let's put the disc in. Okay, this one's playing the disc a bit better. So if this is at 600 and something on the potentiometer, maybe on the new one we try putting it around that and see if it makes a difference. It might not, but it might. But let's see. We plug this in. We'll just see how this fares with the game. So we'll go off and then on. And then we'll close the lid. I can get that. Okay. So we've got the lid closed, game in, game is spinning. Is it going to load up? So that still says please insert PlayStation CD-ROM. Okay, so that's still not working. But it's definitely getting further. Which makes me feel like it is that mod that they've done on it that's caused the problem. What we'll do as one last attempt is we'll try get the new laser assembly again. We'll try and get the resistance to show the same as this, around 600. And if that doesn't work, then we'll clean up that other console and I'll leave it down to you guys to hopefully give me a bit more information around that mod. Because I feel like that's what's causing it. And if you guys know a way to remove it or bypass it, that'd be great. Let me know. And we can come back to this and see how that is. So let's just, take that out. Get this off to the side. We'll check that resistance again. We'll try and get it closer to the one we know is actually spinning up. Obviously, the other one's still not playing a game, but it's definitely getting further. So let's twist this around again. And then measure that. So we're just in ohms again. And we have a reading of 599. Okay, so we're probably a bit too far the other way around now, but definitely close to the one that we know is spinning up. Let's plug this one back in, see if it does anything different now. And then if not, I'm sure you guys will be able to give me some information around what's going on with this, because why is the new one, I say new, the recently bought one working, but the original one, well, I say the new one isn't working, isn't spinning up, but the old one sort of is spinning up but still isn't working. So we'll do the same. Plugged in, game in, power on, hands away, and we'll turn the disc on. No, so it's still the same. So there's definitely something wrong with this laser assembly, that's for certain. So we're unplugged. We'll take out this. So we might just have to leave this one for now. We've done everything we can do with that laser. Once again, I am just going to reset this potentiometer because I don't think that's what's causing the problem. If anything, there's a greater issue with it. I still think there might be something wrong with this cable here. And I think some of those traces might be broken. So we might in the future be able to just try and cut that back a bit and see if they do all reach where they need to, because I'm not sold on those. They all look like they're getting there though, especially if that first one is okay, but maybe they're not. So what we'll do with this one then is we'll put the original laser assembly back in, because that's doing a bit more. We'll put it together and then hopefully you guys might be able to give me a bit more information on what's going on. If you think it's still the pins on that new laser, then we can have a go at taking a bit closer of a look at them. Or if you think by chance that it might be the mod that's on it and it's sort of broken something else, let me know. So we'll just get this one back together. Okay, and here we have that other PlayStation back again, and let's try and see if we can give it just a bit of a clean up, because as you can see, it's disgusting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try with some IPA and some cotton swabs to begin with. Just try and give a bit of a deep kind of a deep pressure in some of these grooves. See if we can get some of this off. So some of this stuff's not going. This bit here is clearly not going to come off. But the rest of this does look a bit surface level, but you can see that it's coming off. Realistically, this console looks like it needs a real good clean. But we'll just try and get a lot of this surface level stuff off to begin with. Okay, I'm just going to get some kitchen roll to help with this as well. Okay, so I've just got some kitchen roll as well, which hopefully should allow just a bit more of a wider surface area, give just a bit of a broader clean down. So to clean this off, I'm just using some isopropyl alcohol, 99.9%, and you can see there it's a bit dirty. So obviously these consoles are pretty old now, so the fact that some of them are still up and running is pretty impressive if you ask me. Just trying to get in all these little grooves here. I don't know what this is on top here. I don't know if it's maybe melted or someone's dropped some glue or something on it, but it's not nice. This side groove here is probably the worst part. Whatever that is, it is in there good. Otherwise, I don't really recommend using kind of metal tools for things like this because you can scratch up the plastic, but sometimes do just need something a bit stronger to lift it up. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's much better. And I think just off the surface level, I think that's probably about as much as we're going to get with this, really. Obviously, I could do a full clean of this. But I'll do that off camera, so it's not as boring for you guys. So there we have it. 1 out of 2 fixed. Just needed a new laser. The other one still isn't working, but does have a mod chip on it. So if any of you guys have any information about that, or know what might be wrong with it, or whether you think actually it's just the new laser assembly is also broken and it needs a new one, let me know. If you think we want to have a look at the pins on that cable, let me know as well. But if not, until the next one, see you later.